Man, this whole situation between Eddie Murphy, Katt Williams, and Kevin Hart got the internet buzzing like never before. When Eddie stepped in and spoke on that moment, Katt Williams shook Kevin Hart. People knew something real was going down. See, Eddie's no gossip. He's a legend who doesn't speak unless there's some truth behind it. So when he brought up that intense moment between two comedy powerhouses, everyone stopped to listen.
10 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. I heard of a comedian that came to LA, and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading. No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is?
It wasn't just some random beef. It was one of those moments where the industry shifted a little, like two heavyweight fighters finally crossing paths. Katt Williams has always been that firecracker, unpredictable, bold, and never afraid to say what others only whisper about. Kevin Hart, on the other hand, plays the Hollywood game well, polished, commercial, the go-to guy for big studios. But when those two worlds collide, raw truth versus corporate comedy, it always sparks fireworks. Eddie revealed that behind the scenes, there was a situation where Katt's words cut deep enough to make Kevin rethink his place for a second. Not because Katt tried to humiliate him, but because Katt reminded everyone that fame and realness don't always ride together.
I broke your stand-up box office record.
What record did he break?
He said he broke some record of your box office sales for stand-up.
I don't know. Where did he...
Are we ever gonna see you on stage again doing stand-up?
I'm gonna do it again, because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage, because this new record that Kevin got, I got to have it back.
Eddie described how Katt carried himself with this don't care attitude, like he had nothing to lose and everything to say, while Kevin was surrounded by cameras, handlers, and brand deals. Imagine being in a room full of stars, everyone laughing, and then Katt steps up and flips the energy completely. He doesn't even have to yell. His words hit like a punch.
I got a show at your hometown in Philly. I'm gonna take my special there. On that stage, we can put whatever you want. A full court basketball court, a boxing.
Eddie said Kevin was shook, not in fear, but because he didn't expect someone from his own circle to call him out so boldly. That's what made this moment legendary. It wasn't about violence or disrespect. It was about truth slapping the air out of the room. From what Eddie described, it wasn't some public meltdown or fight. It was one of those quiet, powerful exchanges that only insiders usually witness. Eddie explained that Katt's presence alone brings tension wherever he goes because he represents that raw side of comedy Hollywood tries to hide. Katt doesn't filter, and that makes people nervous, especially those who've built a brand off being safe. Eddie compared it to how he once felt when Richard Pryor checked him back in the day. It wasn't hate, it was hierarchy.
Do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words.
The kind of energy that reminds you, you might be popular, but I'm still the real deal. That's what happened here. Kevin got reminded of that edge. Even though Hart's career is massive, Katt's authenticity carries a different weight. The kind of power that doesn't come from movie contracts or sponsors, but from truth and raw experience. Katt's name stays buzzing because he doesn't bow to Hollywood's system. He's always calling out fake energy, and Eddie hinted that this is exactly what shook Kevin.
Yeah, we want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely.
Hey, Kev, when you hosted for Diddy, did you catch any baby oil?
When I hosted for Diddy?
Yeah. Nah.
You asking the wrong person the wrong.
When someone who's seen through the whole Hollywood machine looks you in the eyes and says you ain't real, that hits hard. Kevin's used to clapping back online or cracking jokes to diffuse tension, but Eddie said this wasn't one of those moments. This was silence, real silence, the kind where everybody in the room feels the shift. After that, people in the industry started whispering like, yo, did you hear what Katt told Kev? And Eddie, laughing about it later, said it reminded him how power in Hollywood isn't always about who's more famous. Sometimes it's about who's more fearless. Now let's talk about what might have sparked this whole thing in the first place. Katt and Kevin got history. They came up in the same era, grinding through the comedy circuit, hitting the same clubs, chasing the same laughs. But their journeys split in two very different directions. Kevin went mainstream, made his name clean enough for primetime audiences, big sponsors, and blockbuster deals. Katt stayed underground, staying raw, wild, and unfiltered, the people's comedian. So when the two cross paths, that tension always lingers. It's like the streets versus the suits.
You that there's no gatekeepers, but we keep seeing the same people open the gate. Didn't Kevin open the gate and let Tiffany in? Ain't he now opening it up for... Already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? 10 years in Hollywood. No one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club.
I've never been the humble guy. I have time to not be humble today. I have time to fact check everything he said because the world of Katt Williams is a fictional.
Eddie Murphy, who's seen both sides of fame, knows exactly what that looks like. He said it reminded him of those days when real artists in the industry made stars couldn't stand in the same room without some truth leaking out. And that's exactly what Katt brought. Truth that don't mix well with ego. From Eddie's view, Katt wasn't just trying to embarrass Kevin, he was holding up a mirror. He wanted Kevin to see the difference between being loved by Hollywood and being respected by the streets. Kevin's got money, fame, and followers, but Katt's got credibility, that soul connection with people who see through the glitter.
I was actually one of those comedians that said, no, I wouldn't wear a dress. There's no way.
Dave Chappelle and I said that they tried to make him wear a dress.
You have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. I know what they are. You got to know that you're a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times.
And then when proposed with the opportunity of what I felt was funny, nobody made Martin put on a dress and nobody made Tyler Perry. It was a
Goofball.
right.
Or do you think that was already a script and they handed it?
Yeah. The water was deeper though.
Came up, flame was gone. At that time, I was in panic. I have asthma. It was a different.
When Eddie described the moment, he said Katt didn't raise his voice. He just laid down facts so cold Kevin couldn't joke his way out. That's why Eddie said Kevin was shook, not scared but stunned, because sometimes the truth can hit harder than any diss. And Eddie made sure people understood it wasn't about envy, it was about authenticity. Katt Williams has always been a rebel in the comedy game. He's called out people left and right, from Steve Harvey to Diddy to Hollywood itself, and somehow he always lands on his feet. The man's got 9 lives in this business. Eddie even laughed, saying that Katt's one of those rare guys who can disappear for a minute, come back with fire, and make everyone else look like they've been playing it safe. Kevin, on the other hand, has built his empire on being consistent. Non-stop movies, stand-up specials, business ventures, he's everywhere. But that also means he's easy to target when someone questions his realness. Eddie said Katt represents that danger Kevin's brand can't afford to touch. When Katt's around, people stop pretending. The Hollywood Polish fades, and suddenly it's about who's got the real soul, not the biggest deal. Eddie told it like he saw it. Katt walked into that situation with confidence, like a man who's been through storms and survived. He didn't need validation, and that scared people more than anything. He reminded Kevin in his own way that no matter how far you climb, you can't escape your roots. That moment wasn't planned, it was pure energy. Eddie said the air got heavy, people went quiet, and for the first time, Kevin didn't have a punchline ready. That's when Eddie realized something real was happening, that Katt Williams had just reminded everyone that Hollywood fame fades, but authenticity lasts forever. Even Eddie, who's been around legends his whole life, said he hadn't seen something like that in years. 2 forces of comedy clashing without even raising their voices. After that story came out, fans started debating who really runs comedy right now. Some say Kevin's still the king because of his success. Others say Katt's the heart of the culture because he keeps it real no matter what. Eddie Murphy didn't take sides. He just pointed out that moments like that define legacies. He said Katt's energy reminds him of the old school greats, the kind who didn't care about Hollywood approval. They just wanted to make people laugh and tell the truth, even if it made others uncomfortable. Kevin's success is undeniable, but Eddie hinted that fame can sometimes make you forget where you came from. And that's exactly what Katt exposed that day. Not Kevin's weakness, but the gap between being famous and being fearless. The internet went crazy after Eddie's comments dropped. People started revisiting old interviews, old jokes, even old feuds between Kevin and Katt, trying to figure out what really went down. Some said it was about respect. Katt felt Kevin got handed things he had to fight for. Others said it was deeper, about how Hollywood picks who to promote and who to push aside. Eddie didn't spill every detail, but he made it clear that Katt's words carried weight. He called it one of those moments that change how people see you. Because after that, Kevin might still have his fame, but everyone started looking at him differently. That's what Eddie meant when he said Katt shook him. He shifted the perception, the way the audience sees their heroes. Eddie also dropped some wisdom, saying this situation wasn't about hate, it was about growth. He said the entertainment world needs both types, the polished star who represents success and the rebel who keeps the truth alive. Without that balance, everything becomes fake. He explained how Katt challenges people's comfort zones, while Kevin represents what happens when you play by the rules. And when those two energies collide, you get fireworks. Eddie's point hit hard. He said real comedy has always been born from truth. And the moment you stop being honest, you stop being funny. That's why Katt Williams still commands respect, even from legends like Murphy, because he never sold his soul for applause. In the end, this story isn't just about Katt Williams shaking Kevin Hart. It's about the clash between raw honesty and Hollywood perfection. Eddie Murphy didn't tell the story to start drama. He told it because it showed the power of authenticity. He said it reminded him why he fell in love with comedy in the first place. Because real humor speaks truth. And whether people side with Kevin or Katt, they can't deny that moment changed the game. It made everyone in Hollywood check themselves. Who's keeping it real and who's just performing? Eddie called it a necessary shakeup. A reminder that sometimes one honest man can make an entire industry uncomfortable. And that's exactly why this story keeps echoing. Because truth always finds a way to shake the room.